All right, this is regular meeting of Taylor ISD. It is not board meeting Taylor now, not 5:30. October 7th, 24. We have a quorum. Mr. Skinner will lead us in the pledge of allegiance, followed by Mr. Smith giving indication.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us here this evening and protect us and guide us in this meeting tonight, that we can make that right decision for our community and our students here. Thank you, and please watch out over this next hurricane coming in the communities of North Carolina and Tennessee. In this act we ask, amen.
Amen.
All right. I need a motion to approve consent item as presented at administrative board meeting of September 9th, 2024.
Mr. President, I so move.
A motion by Mr. Williams, is that seconded?
Second.
Have a second by Mr. Skinner. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? None. Motion carries.
Mr. President, Board of Trustees, tonight, Ms. Hopkins is going to do our bilingual ESL that required program evaluation.
Good evening. This year we saw just slight decreases in our campus enrollment. Excuse me, let me back up just a second. These numbers are based on last year's enrollment. We're a year behind on this. So despite that, we did still continue to see an increase in our emerging bilingual population. So I think that's kind of interesting. The state also changed the requirements for which a student can be reclassified. Otherwise, they are not still receiving services under the emerging bilingual or the old ESL program. They made it a bit easier on the front end to see that a student can be reclassified by using their TILPAS scores. Previously, on all four of the criteria, the tests that the students take for TILPAS, they had to receive advanced high in all four criteria. And then there was a composite score that was rated on those four. Now they have changed the criteria where you can have advanced high overall and still use your STAR scores or it's the Iowa Form F to be reclassified and be removed from that emerging bilingual program. One of the things that the state, or I've seen a lot of information coming out this year, is the state is really trying to make parents aware that even if they opt out, because a parent can opt out of emerging bilingual participation, it does not change the fact that the district still has to serve those kids. So they still have to take the TILPAS test. We still have them go through the LPAC committees each year. So they can opt out of the program, but we still have services. One of the big advantages that we were able to accomplish last year is we have a new teacher that has been certified to give the Lost Links test. We are seeing more students enroll that come to us with no English ability. They speak no English. And in order to begin their process, they have to go through the Lost Links test to make sure, to give them a baseline of what their skills are at that time. So we were able to add that position as well as continue to have our ESL teachers there on staff.
Thank you. Mr. Fox can go over District Goal 1, and if Ms. Hopkins, if you need to go back to your next meeting, you're welcome to stay, but I know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
District Goal 1, of course, addresses safety, and we know at this point, #1 is safety in the district right now. That was changed a couple of years ago, making it the top priority. One of the things we submitted back in the fall was our EOP, which they're getting more standardized and coming together as one, all because of the incident that happened down south, where the state is stepping in a little bit more, getting a little more involved on things and making them more uniform requirements across the state as far as what's required by districts. And a lot of that they have now, which will start this year, which this is all based up on last year's data as well. But one of the things that starts this year is Sentinel, which all these type of things I'm talking about now will be uploaded going into the new system. But some of the things that we've added, of course, that you are aware of, that we've continued a lot of the things as far as adding additional radios. We've done still doing the drug testing type things. Of course, the badges and still working on the locks, getting those done as far as upgrading of the system.
Is that a door? This one, you check. I heard a door.
The door lock system, and also making sure that we've also have the active defender, which last year in the fall, it was kind of like a temporary type. We were just trying it out. Right now, all districts have it, and all drills are going through that. We did hire additional guardian, additional officer, which would include, that was Mr. Fabiani last year. Once again, this doesn't include going into this year what we've done. And then being able to complete the district, that was part of the grant when we talk about safety. When we talk about shatterproof and resistant film, that was completed where it's not bullet resistant, but it does keep it from shatterproof. So that's been done, going out, and that was implemented throughout the district. So once again, based upon these things, we've added, of course, we're not up for the 3-year safety audit, but you've gotten that when that was due. And then, of course, the drill recommendations on all the principals having that, taking care of that all last year, going through the requirements as far as meeting those requirements. And then the Safety and Security Committee, which Dr. Richardson is the chair, and these are the individuals are all on that committee, which we meet 3 times a year and discuss things that are implemented and things that we need to improve on. And like those audits, those things have to be reported to the board as well. That takes care of goal 1. Goal 3 deals with a multiple facet of different things when it comes to the district. Looking at different data. When you look at 3.1, this data is compared and it goes back all the way starting with 19 to 20 and it's all the way up to now. And you can kind of see where we fall as far as discipline. You're talking about suspensions, you're talking about DAP placements. One of the things you see was on a rise of total DAP placements was because of, what do you call them, vape pens, and trying to cut down on that. That was a statewide issue, and it's still an issue of having in those mandatory placements. And a lot of school districts did go up in this area because of trying to stop and prevent kids from using vape pens. So those are automatic placements when you come to within the school with a vape pen. So definitely you can see it double going from that. And then looking at, as you can see too, when it talks about referral for drugs, alcohol, 0. Drugs, when you're talking about drugs, that goes along too with the vape pens and the things that you can order to put in those cartridges in order to be more discreet. So once again, as technology and things go, we have to stay on top of it, try to continue to stay on top of the kids as well to help prevent these type of things. The bullying plan, that's district-wide, it's posted on there. The things that are required, the loan paperwork. This month, actually October starts Bullying Prevention Month. So you'll see some things that's going out from campuses on Facebook, things on social media being posted about the different types of things that are out there, the different programs, and then also the forms that are also online for parents to complete, as well as administrators to complete, or being informed of things that they have to know based upon if your child being bullied. 3.3 deals with all the extra curricular type events. And you can see when you're talking about student participation, one thing I can say, and that's hadn't changed that down and over through the years, majority of our students at high school, very few don't participate in anything. You have a very select people, the majority of the kids, and that number is kind of misleading somewhat because this is a total of all the leadership groups total number. So you could be in more than one group, but when you look at the totality, majority of our kids are still participating. And then we know too, if you look in the past, there were several community service type things. And those who are part of the Education Foundation, trying to get kids to get involved, trying to get kids to do community service type things. They really don't want to do it this, and encouraging, even when you talk about writing an essay now. Those things, just trying to get them to go out and be participating. We got to increase that participation when it comes to those leadership groups. As you can see on TES, we've gone down from 9 all the way down to 1. And that's one of the emphasis as far as getting those kids involved in groups after school to be a little more involved in being a part of things. Because once again, the more you're involved in school, the less likely you are to find yourself in trouble and in discipline. So trying to increase those participations and getting those things up.
So would that, the cheer group, would that be considered in that?
Yes.
Okay, that's.
She started that this
Yeah,
year.
I love
Yeah.
that, yes.
That was one of the things. And two, once again, when you talk about it, they had a garden club, which it kind of changed because the Texas A&M, the agri-science extension, they ended up changing it to more built in the curriculum. So it used to be after school, planning and doing all those things, but now it's built in the curriculum. So it's really not a club per se, it's a part of the curriculum. They still have kids who participate, not all kids participate in it, but it's not a club per se after school. It's kind of built in the curriculum, which it hurts when you're talking about a leadership group or a group, but yet it's built in the curriculum. So it's that's kind of different, but at least all kids are getting it now, as opposed to certain kids who might possibly couldn't stay after school, they're getting it in the curriculum now. So if you look at my extracurricular type things when it comes to the criteria that's set over there, of course, met standard in those, this is all should be middle school, which that was a problem in the past, and that kind of helped last year getting that person over there to help increase in numbers. I think Coach Keelan has done a great job, and Coach Barker being involved in the lower level and helping those individuals increase those numbers. Because once again, if they like it down there and they enjoy it, that's where you're going to kind of keep them in the program. So keeping those numbers up. I know last year we had a lot of problems. Well, it wasn't a lot of problems, but you compare last year to this year, band, we did reach those criteria this year, which did go up and improve some based upon this year's data, actually from last year's data, considering where we were a year before. So things did get better there as opposed to where they were the year before. So things are moving in the right direction. Of course, there's always things to correct and move, and definitely continue to monitor and move forward. One of the things like this year, when we talk about academics, UIL academics, we know we will be in with Sabine, which will be a challenge because they win state pretty much every year. So it'll be a challenge to be a little different going in, and White Oak will also be in there with us as well. So we'll have two top-notch programs that will be competing in that academic side of the UIL, but that's a challenge that we would like, and we can continue to strive for, and we'll continue working on building that up as well. Any questions?
Where can we find, are these reports online?
No, ma'am, not this.
Oh, this is just.
So when you're looking at the total numbers of the high school, as far as where we are, being able, the teams been able to put out there. Soccer, of course, you look at girls basketball and soccer, those are the ones typically, we usually are not able to field two teams, which we encourage, but most of the time that's when the girls are doing cheerleading, most of them won't do both, and they go into dancing right now. Dancing comes and has gone up to the drill team. So typically, you're not able to field a soccer or typically a girls basketball team. Like boys, we have 3 teams, and girls we usually will have 2 instead of having that freshman team. But typically, we really won't have 3, but we do know the enrollment has gone down the way. When you're looking at the standard as far as playoff contenders, over there is the performance standard. So looking at what we achieved last year, we were able to get all of them except the two in basketball and also softball. So definitely want to continue to work on that and be continuous in that as well.
Soccer.
Soccer, of course, this last year, we go into what district we are. Remember the center and the big group.
Yeah, Kilgore.
Kilgore and all of them in the larger schools, which it's just gonna be hard to compete based upon numbers. But now, things will be a little different, so we should be able to compete better. But still, the numbers are not where we want them to be. You still probably gonna have one girls soccer team right now, based upon just the numbers that are enrolled in the soccer program right now in 8th period at the high school.
There's talk of next realignment that they'll have a 3A, 2A soccer.
Oh, cool.
Which would be beneficial to us based upon
Yes.
numbers.
Because when you're going to events, like we'll play Pine Tree this year.
Oh,
Pine Tree, Kilgore, those two are definitely in there. Center as well, which has a program, and the numbers are tremendous compared to people competing in the soccer program. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Mr. Pyle. You're up still, I guess. Check report.
Ms. Cooper is the one who heads up our SHAC program. As we talked about, I came to you last board meeting, we talked about doing DOI as far as the requirements. Because parents and just timing it, trying in the daytime, trying to get people to come to the SHAC meetings. And you can see there were the meetings that were listed there. Right now, based upon the DOI, we can have more, and if needed, we can address it. But trying to get people to show up and take care of those things is always a hassle. So part of that DOI is to kind of not force us to have those number required meetings because of participation. But the goals for last year were enhance student health programs, engage the community, promote healthy lifestyle choices, and nutrition and physical activities initiatives. And those things, one of the things when we talk about, we were also successful in getting our Narcan on all the campuses. Narcan is when we have an opiate overdose, and that's a big thing now. Being able to have a plan in place, who's going to distribute it and all those things, but we do have a plan, number 1, 2, who's going to distribute it, and being able to get our hands on it to be able to help in case we do have that emergency. We can never say never because things have changed. School health service discussed the rising level. One of the things that I brought to Dr. Rich's attention that came up in one of these meetings was if a nurse is out on a particular campus, looking at maybe there are some local nurses here that are willing to come in that are retired, maybe substitute for a nurse on campus. Like Ms. Cooper, as of right now, she covers 2 campuses. She's distributing meds. She's going back and forth and trying to go to another campus if there's something there to distribute meds if a particular nurse is out. So looking into trying to possibly add those people to a list as far as having a substitute nurse to help out with that. And then as well as the PE classes, adopted catch program. And in that's where, by law, you have to have K through 8, a certain program to adopt. And we've adopted the CATCH program. They all, PE teachers have been trained in the CATCH program, which it really has a series of different things when you're talking about eating habits, physical activity, and just promoting those things overall. It also has structured PE lessons, as opposed to just kicking the ball out there. PE coaches kick the ball out there and blow the whistle and y'all have free day. This is more of an engagement wise where there's some skill building included in that as well, which helps out. Of course, I talked about this all kind of goes in, when we talk about SHAC, this all kind of goes in October as well, because this is the bullying month. These are the type of things which goes with the whole thing of this, the SHAC component. When we're talking about ribbon week, those things, when you're talking about informing parents, being out there to help out on those things when it talks about engagement, as well as our counselor that we do have over there, which ties in too, because she's a part of that committee as well when we're talking about mental health. That goes along with that to help out in that area. One of the big things that ended up last year was, which we're looking to do more of, is on the community outreach part of it, getting people more involved. Last year at the primary on field day, they had Taylor Fire Department had a high school trainers out there, and medically trained parents as volunteers. You have so many kids out there and given they running around, there's accidents, there's things that happen, kids fall, things happen. Having people that are out there who kind of know what's going on, who prepare for those things helps out. So definitely at elementary this year, that's one of the things that's going to be kind of focused, is getting the same type of group involved at the primary level and at the elementary level. So get a little more involvement and having those individuals out there, because it kind of helps. You can have that, not just the school nurse trying to deal with 450 kids running around. So that helps out a lot. So that's kind of going to be the goal this year. We're going to be working on increase that activity. One of the concerns, I guess, major things of concern, which will be looked at, will be increase of resource allocation. When you talk about doing all these things, it's very important having the funds and the funds allocated towards increasing this. So she's listed some goals of what they're going to go into this year as far as having that 7 through 12. Having these AEDs on the wall, but you never know when it might happen where a kid might have to know how to use that thing. And if you look at them, they're pretty self-explanatory. It walks you through everything, but having them to get trained in that is going to be a benefit, because once again, time is of the essence when you're talking about safety and emergency. So training those individuals at those levels, being able to work that, is going to be just great. And then too, we know based on last year, the different things, heat is hot right now, and learning how to implement those things from a coaching standpoint, educating them on how we can better serve our kids in that heat. And there was the list of the members that served last year, and we'll continue to have those individuals come in to help the decision making on making it better as far as the SHAC committee and the report that as we move forward.
Thank you. Quite a bit. You're still up. It's your show tonight.
All right.
We had an employee come to us, we were out visiting the other day, and request bereavement. And our policy, we currently do not have that. And so Mr. Pye and I started visiting, so he took it upon himself to go out there. And what was yours, sir?
Well, one of the things, and we know death is going to happen, and I've experienced it twice with my mom and dad. When you look at employees, there's always going to be death. And when we're talking about how much time do you need, they're employees. So some districts have 3 days, some have the maximum was 5. But in that, out of those 3 days, you talk about preparing for dealing with funeral homes, dealing with all this. So the 3-day period, family and people coming in, those extra 2 days added to normally, I think Columbia had 5 days. Those extra 2 days, as opposed to the 3 days recommended, would be for business aspect of it, because there's always going to be the side where you got to go get this, go to the courthouse, you got to take care of this, and understanding that we, it's a perk for our employees. Understanding that you do have this time off, and we are in it with you. I mean, one thing we can say here, we're family. And so whatever time, and having that where you have a certain amount of time to look on the bottom there, says request for bereavement leave, that will be form to complete. And a lot of things are can take into consideration, but you got to use them within 60 days. Some say consecutive, but once again, you could be out of state based upon going out. So there's a lot of things, as we get more transit in society. 30 years ago, we all right here in the local community. Now you got family coming in from different places. So having 5 days and having that extra time there is beneficial. I think it's a perk for our employees to be able to say what we can do. So our recommendation would be able to change our policy in DEC local to address granting our employees 5 days for bereavement, which wasn't in place in the beginning.
This is great.
All right. I need a motion to approve the revision to DEC local board policy granting bereavement leave up to 5 days to full-time employees as presented. A motion by Mr. Crawford,
I second it.
second by Ms. Amy. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? None motion carries.
Next item we have is our technology servers that we need to be replacing. This money, approximately $75,746.27 is coming out of our technology budget. And this is something that we have to periodically do every, I don't know, few years. And so that's the recommendation.
I need a motion to approve the technology purchase for server replacement hardware from Synergy Technology in the amount of $75,746.27 as presented.
Mr. President, so moved.
A motion by Mr. Smith. A second.
I'll second it.
Second by Ms. Amy. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? None motion carries. All right. Board now convenes to close meeting to discuss the following items posted on the agenda this evening as allowed by the Texas Government Code 551.074 to discuss superintendent's evaluation instrument and the resignation and employment of professional personnel. No vote will take place in the closed meeting. Any action the board wishes to take as a result of discussion in closed session will take place after the board reconvenes in open meeting. It is now 5:57.